Welcome, friend. Tonight we walk a quiet path together, one that asks nothing of you. The day has been long, perhaps heavier than you expected it to be, but now it is behind you. The tasks and worries that filled your hours have no place here in this stillness. You have done enough, you have carried enough, and now at last you can rest. Feel the weight of your body pressing gently into the bed beneath you. Notice how the mattress rises to meet you, holding you without effort. Your pillow cradles your head like a soft hand. The blankets settle around you like the embrace of an old friend. There is nothing you need to fix in this moment. There is nothing you need to solve. The world will continue turning without your attention, without your worry. For these next hours, you are free. Free to simply be, free to breathe, free to let go. Somewhere in the distance, perhaps rain is falling. You can imagine it now if you wish. Soft drops landing on leaves, on stone, on the roof above you. Each drop a tiny surrender, each drop returning to the earth from which it came. The rain does not struggle to fall, it simply falls, and in its falling it finds peace, or perhaps there is silence where you are, a deep, nourishing silence that wraps around you like silk. In this silence you can hear your own heart beating, slow and steady, a rhythm older than thought, a rhythm that knows how to sustain you even when your mind forgets. A single candle might be burning somewhere in the room of your imagination. Watch its flame if you like. See how it flickers and sways, dancing to a wind too subtle to feel. The light it casts is golden and warm. It touches the walls with soft shadows. It asks nothing of you but your presence. Tonight, I will share with you some old stories. They come from monasteries tucked into misty mountains. They come from teachers who spoke in riddles because truth often hides in questions. They come from a time when life moved slowly enough for people to notice the moon, to listen to rivers, to sit in silence and discover what silence teaches. These stories are not meant to instruct you. They are meant to accompany you, like a friend walking beside you on a forest path, like a voice humming a song you almost remember. They will move through you gently. Take what resonates. Let the rest drift past like leaves on water. You do not need to hold on to anything I say. You do not need to remember these words tomorrow. The purpose is not learning. The purpose is release. The purpose is to help your mind grow still enough to welcome sleep. And sleep will come. It always does. Not because you chase it, but because you stop running. Sleep arrives when we finally allow ourselves to fall, when we trust that the ground will catch us, when we remember that rest is not a reward we must earn, but a gift that is always waiting. So let your eyes remain closed, let your jaw soften, let your shoulders melt into the bed. You are safe here, you are held, and the night, patient and gentle, has all the time in the world. There once lived a calligrapher in a small village at the foot of a great mountain. His name has been forgotten by history, for he never sought fame. He wrote only for the joy of the brush meeting paper. He wrote only to feel the ink flow like water finding its path. This calligrapher was old when I speak of him. His hair had turned the colour of winter clouds. His hands trembled slightly when he lifted his tea. But when he took up his brush, something changed. His movements became fluid, certain, alive. The trembling disappeared. The years fell away. People came from distant towns to watch him work. They would sit in silence as he prepared his ink, grinding the stick slowly against the wet stone. They would hold their breath as he lifted his brush, loaded with darkness, and they would watch in wonder as characters appeared on the paper, each stroke a miracle of balance and grace. But there was something the visitors did not know, something the calligrapher kept private for many years. He was slowly losing his sight. The world had been growing dimmer for him, season by season, like a lamp running low on oil. At first, he could still see the paper, still see the characters forming beneath his brush. He compensated for the fading light by moving closer, by choosing better candles, by working only in the brightest hours of the day. But eventually, even these adjustments were not enough. The darkness crept inward from the edges of his vision. Colours faded to grey, shapes lost their sharpness. And finally, one autumn morning, he woke to find that he could no longer see the paper at all. Only shadow, only absence. You might expect that this would be the end of his story, that he would set down his brush and surrender to despair. Many would have. Many would have raged against the unfairness, mourned the loss of their gift, given up on the work that had given their life meaning. But the calligrapher did something different. He sat with his blindness. He did not fight it. He did not curse the heavens or plead for restoration. He simply sat, day after day, in the darkness that had become his world. And in that darkness, he discovered something remarkable. He discovered that he had been relying on his eyes too much, that his vision, while useful, had also been a limitation. It had made him careful, made him cautious, made him constantly judge and correct and adjust. Without his eyes, he was forced to trust something deeper, to trust the body that had practiced these strokes 10,000 times, to trust the rhythm that had become part of his breath, his bones, his beating heart. One morning, 3 months after he had lost his sight completely, he rose before dawn. He prepared his ink by touch, feeling the texture of the grinding, smelling the rich earthiness of the pigment. He laid out his paper, smoothing it with hands that saw through fingertips. He dipped his brush, feeling the moment it was ready, and then he wrote. He wrote without seeing, without knowing if the characters were properly formed, without any certainty that what emerged would be beautiful or even legible. He simply moved the brush as his body knew how to move it. He surrendered to the motion itself. When his student arrived that afternoon, she found the calligrapher sitting peacefully beside a sheet of paper. The student looked at what he had written, and tears came to her eyes, for there on the paper were the most beautiful characters she had ever seen, more alive than anything he had created when he could see, more free, more true. The calligrapher smiled when she told him. He said very quietly that he finally understood. All those years he had been trying to control the brush, trying to make the characters match the image in his mind. But beauty, he realized, does not come from control. It comes from trust. It comes from letting go. He continued to write until the end of his days. People said his final works were the finest ever produced in that province, but the calligrapher himself did not care about such judgments. He simply enjoyed the feeling of the brush, the smell of the ink, the silence of the morning. He had found peace not by holding on to his vision, but by releasing it, not by fighting his loss, but by allowing it to teach him. Peace is not something we create. It is what remains when we stop struggling. Let yourself breathe now. Feel the air moving in through your nose, cool and gentle. Feel it filling your lungs, expanding your chest, and then feel the release, the soft surrender of the exhale. Air returning to the world, nothing held, nothing forced. You have perhaps been holding on to something. We all carry burdens we have forgotten we picked up, worries that settled into our shoulders, fears that tightened our jaws, old hurts that we keep protected, hidden, but never quite healed. The calligrapher's blindness was not a tragedy. It was an invitation to discover what lies beneath our reliance on the obvious. What wisdom waits in the darkness we usually avoid? What would it mean, I wonder, for you to stop trying so hard? Not to give up exactly, but to ease the grip, to trust that you know more than you think you know, that your body, your heart, your quiet inner wisdom can guide you even when the way is unclear. We spend so much of our lives looking outward, measuring ourselves against what we see, comparing our progress to others, judging our worth by results that can be counted and displayed. But the deepest truths are often invisible. The most important growth happens in places we cannot see. Tonight, as you rest, consider releasing one small thing. It does not have to be anything dramatic. Perhaps it is simply the expectation that you should already be asleep. Perhaps it is the habit of reviewing everything you did not accomplish today. Perhaps it is a worry about tomorrow that serves no purpose. Tonight, let it go, just for now. You can pick it up again in the morning if you choose, but for these quiet hours, give yourself permission to set it down, to be unburdened, to be as free as the calligrapher who learned that his blindness was a gift. The breath continues, in and out. The heart continues, steady and faithful, and you continue, resting, softening, allowing sleep to find you in its own time. There is an old monastery that sits on a hillside overlooking a valley of bamboo. The buildings are made of weathered wood, grey with age, beautiful in their simplicity. Stone paths connect the meditation halls to the sleeping quarters. Moss grows between the stones, soft and green. For many generations, this monastery was home to monks who devoted their lives to stillness. They woke before dawn to sit in silence. They tended gardens and swept floors and prepared simple meals. They spoke only when necessary, and even then, in voices barely louder than whispers. Among these monks lived a temple cat. No one remembered where the cat had come from. One day it simply appeared, thin and hungry, at the kitchen door. One of the older monks offered it a bowl of rice and some scraps of fish. The cat ate gratefully, and then it stayed. Over the years, the cat became part of the monastery's rhythm. It slept in patches of sunlight that moved across the floor. It walked silently among the monks during meditation, occasionally brushing against a leg or settling beside a cushion. The monks came to love this small creature, though they never spoke of their affection aloud. The cat seemed to understand the nature of the place. It never made noise during sitting periods. It never knocked things over or demanded attention. It simply existed, peacefully, alongside the humans who had welcomed it. There was a young monk at this monastery, new to the practice, still struggling to quiet his restless mind. He would sit on his cushion and try to focus on his breath, but thoughts would come crashing in like waves. Worries about his family back home, doubts about whether he had made the right choice in coming here, plans for what he might do differently tomorrow. Each time he noticed he had been lost in thought, He would grow frustrated with himself. His jaw would tighten. His shoulders would creep toward his ears. He would force his attention back to his breath, only to lose it again moments later. Meditation felt like a battle he could not win. One afternoon, while the other monks were working in the garden, this young monk sat alone in the meditation hall. He was trying once again to find stillness and failing once again to escape his thoughts. He opened his eyes, ready to give up, and found the temple cat sitting directly in front of him. The cat regarded him with calm, golden eyes. It blinked slowly, then yawned, then settled into a comfortable position, tucking its paws beneath its chest, and then it simply sat there, not doing anything, not trying to be anything, just existing. The young monk watched the cat. He noticed how it breathed, slow and easy. He noticed how its body was completely relaxed, soft and settled. He noticed how it seemed utterly content to be exactly where it was, doing exactly nothing. Something shifted in the young monk, a recognition, a permission he had not known he needed. He realized that he had been approaching meditation like a task to be completed, like a skill to be mastered through effort and discipline. He had been fighting himself, wrestling with his own mind, treating his thoughts as enemies to be defeated. But the cat fought nothing. The cat controlled nothing. The cat simply sat, and in its sitting found perfect peace. The young monk closed his eyes again. This time he did not try to force his thoughts away. When worries arose, he let them arise. When doubts appeared, he let them appear. He stopped treating his mind as a problem to be solved and started treating it as a sky in which clouds would naturally come and go. The thoughts kept coming, as they always had, but somehow they mattered less. He was no longer at war with them. He was no longer measuring his success by their absence. He was simply sitting, breathing, being present, letting whatever happened happen. When the bell rang to signal the end of the meditation period, the young monk opened his eyes. The cat was gone, wandered off to find another patch of sunlight. But something in the monk had changed forever. He had learned a lesson that would serve him for the rest of his life. Peace is not achieved by defeating our thoughts. It is found by allowing them to pass without resistance. We do not need to empty our minds. We need only to stop fighting what fills them. The cat, in its wordless wisdom, had shown him what years of instruction had failed to convey. Stillness is not something we create through effort. It is something we uncover by getting out of our own way. Breathe. Just breathe. The breath knows what to do. It has been breathing you since the moment you were born. It will continue breathing you tonight, as it always has, asking nothing in return. Perhaps your mind is still active. Perhaps thoughts continue to arise, memories and plans and fragments of the day. This is natural. This is what minds do. You do not need to scold yourself for having a mind that thinks. You only need to stop believing that thinking prevents rest. Even now, beneath the thoughts, your body is softening. Your muscles are releasing tensions they have carried for hours. Your nervous system is shifting, slowly, towards sleep. It happens without your effort. It happens whether you notice it or not. Let the thoughts float through you like clouds through a mountain valley. Let them come and let them go. Some will be dark and heavy. Some will be light and passing. It does not matter. You are not your thoughts. You are the awareness in which thoughts appear. The temple cat did not sit and think about sitting, it simply sat, and in that simplicity it found what the monk spent years seeking. The answer was never hidden. It was only overlooked because we expected it to be more complicated. What if rest were simple? What if you could stop trying to fall asleep and just let sleep rise to meet you? What if this moment, right now, were enough? Not preparation for something better, not a means to an end, but complete, whole, sufficient as it is. The rain that may be falling outside does not hurry. Each drop takes its time, each drop finds its destination, and the earth receives the rain with gratitude, without rush, without resistance. Be like the earth tonight. Receive what comes. Let it soak into you. Let it nourish you. Let it wash away whatever residue the day has left behind. There is an old teaching that speaks of the burning library. I will tell you this story now, slowly, as the night deepens around us. In a city whose name has been worn away by centuries, there once stood a great library. It was not the largest library in the world, nor the oldest, but it contained something rare. It housed the complete writings of a single master, a philosopher who had spent his entire life distilling wisdom into words. This master had written 312 books. Each one was handwritten in his own careful script. Each one contained insights gathered over decades of contemplation. Scholars travelled from distant lands just to read these pages. They said that anyone who absorbed all 312 books would understand the nature of existence itself. The library that held these treasures was tended by a single caretaker. He was an old man, quiet and devoted, who had spent 40 years of his life preserving these texts. He dusted the shelves each morning. He repaired torn pages with gentle precision. He controlled the humidity to protect the delicate paper. His entire world was this building and its contents. One evening, as the caretaker prepared to close the library for the night, he smelled smoke. At first it was faint, almost imagined, but within moments the smell grew stronger. He hurried toward the east wing and found flames licking at the wooden shelves. No one knows how the fire started. A forgotten candle, perhaps. A spark from a lamp. It does not matter now. What matters is that the fire spread quickly, faster than anyone could have stopped. The caretaker ran through the building, trying to save what he could. He gathered armfuls of books and carried them outside. His lungs burned with smoke. His eyes streamed with tears. But he kept returning, again and again, pulling volumes from shelves that would be ash within the hour. In the end, he saved 17 books, 17 out of 312. The rest were consumed by the flames, along with the building that had housed them. By morning, nothing remained but charred stone and drifting ash. People expected the caretaker to be devastated. They imagined he would collapse with grief, having lost almost everything he had devoted his life to protecting. And indeed, when they found him sitting on the grass beside the ruins, they approached him gently, ready to offer comfort. But the caretaker was smiling. Not a bitter smile, not a smile of denial, a genuine, peaceful smile. One of the scholars who had travelled to see the fire asked him how he could possibly be at peace. How could he accept the loss of so much wisdom, so much irreplaceable beauty? The caretaker looked at the pile of ashes and then at the 17 books beside him. He said very simply that he was grateful. Grateful? The scholar asked, confused. Yes, the caretaker replied. For 40 years, I protected 312 books. I had the privilege of reading every one of them, some of them many times. Their wisdom became part of me. The fire cannot burn what I have absorbed. It cannot destroy what has taken root in my heart. He held up one of the saved volumes. And now, he continued, I have these 17 to care for. Perhaps that is enough. Perhaps that was always enough. I do not need to own wisdom. I only need to live it. The scholar went away troubled by these words. How could anyone accept such loss so readily? How could anyone find peace when so much had been taken from them? But over time, as the scholar reflected on what the caretaker had said, understanding began to dawn. The caretaker had not lost anything essential. The books were just paper and ink. The wisdom they contained had already been received, had already done its work. And the attachment to physical objects, no matter how precious, was itself a kind of burden. The caretaker spent his remaining years with those 17 books. He read them slowly, savouring each word. He shared their insights with anyone who came to ask. And when he died, peacefully, in his sleep, people said he looked as though he had simply set down a weight he had been carrying for a very long time. Peace is not dependent on our circumstances. It is a quality of attention, a willingness to accept what is. The fire took the books, but it could not take the wisdom. Loss is only devastating when we believe we should not lose. Let this teaching settle into you now, like water finding its level. You cannot control what the future will bring. You cannot protect everything you love, but you can choose how you meet what comes. You can choose presence over resistance. You can choose gratitude over grief. The night outside your window does not mourn the day that has passed. It simply is what it is, dark and quiet and full of stars. And you too can be what you are right now, without needing anything to be different. The breath continues, in and out. The heart continues, steady and faithful. And somewhere in the depths of your being, peace is waiting to be noticed. Perhaps you have experienced your own version of the burning library, a relationship that ended, a job that disappeared, a dream that did not come to pass. We all carry these losses, some spoken, some silent, and we all struggle at times to let them go. But consider this. Every loss creates space. Every ending makes room for a new beginning. The caretaker did not fill his remaining years with grief. He filled them with presence, with service, with the simple joy of being alive. What would it mean to stop mourning what is gone and start appreciating what remains? Not to deny the pain of loss, but to hold it alongside gratitude. Not to pretend everything is fine, but to recognize that everything is workable, that we are resilient, that the human heart can hold sorrow and peace in the same breath. You are holding both right now, perhaps. The day brought its challenges. Some things did not go as you hoped. Some people disappointed you, or you disappointed yourself. These are real. These matter. But they are not the whole of your experience. Also real are the small moments of goodness, a word of kindness, a meal that nourished you, the fact that you made it through another day and now have this chance to rest. These, too, deserve attention. These, too, are worthy of your awareness. The old masters said that wisdom begins with seeing clearly, not with judgment, not with preference, but with simple, open attention, to see what is as it is without needing to change it. This is the foundation of peace, and so, as you lie here in the darkness, I invite you to see clearly, to notice your body heavy and soft on the bed. to notice your breath rising and falling of its own accord, to notice the thoughts that drift through your mind, coming and going like visitors to a temple. None of this requires effort. It is already happening. You are simply turning your attention toward what has always been present. And in that turning, something shifts. The grip loosens, the struggle subsides, and peace, which was never truly absent, begins to make itself known. Let the night hold you now. Let the silence wrap around you like a blanket. You are safe here. You are whole. And whatever tomorrow may bring, this moment is complete. If these teachings bring you peace, you are welcome to subscribe and return whenever you wish to rest. There is a garden I would like to show you. It exists perhaps only in imagination, or perhaps it exists somewhere in the world, in a corner of Japan or China or Korea, tended by hands that understand the art of stillness. It does not matter. Tonight, it exists here, between your ears, in the quiet space where stories live. The garden is small, no larger than a single room. It is enclosed by a wall of grey stone, weathered by centuries of wind and rain. Within the wall, there is nothing but raked gravel and stones. 5 stones, to be exact. 3 large, 2 small. Arranged in a pattern that seems random, but is, in fact, deeply considered. This is a contemplation garden, a place designed not for walking, but for sitting and looking. There is a wooden platform along one edge where visitors can rest. They come here to empty their minds. They come here to find what cannot be found by seeking. The gravel is pale, almost white. It has been raked in careful lines, curving around the stones like water around islands. In the morning light, the lines cast tiny shadows. In the evening, they seem to glow with a faint luminescence. The gravel is raked fresh each day by a gardener who never speaks, who never hurries, who finds in this simple task a complete and sufficient practice. The stones are dark, almost black, streaked with veins of grey and white. They have names, though the names are not written anywhere. The largest stone is called the mountain that waits. The 2 medium stones are called the brothers of dawn. The 2 small stones are called the children of the river. These names were given long ago by a monk who saw in the arrangement a story that no one else could quite discern. If you were to sit on the wooden platform, gazing at this garden, you would notice something strange. At first, it seems like nothing, just stones and gravel, just an empty space enclosed by a wall. But if you sit long enough, if you let your eyes soften and your thoughts settle, something begins to happen. The garden starts to speak, not in words, but in the language of form and space. The stones seem to vibrate with presence. The gravel seems to breathe. The emptiness becomes full, rich with a meaning that cannot be translated but can be felt. This is the secret of the contemplation garden. It offers nothing and, in that offering, reveals everything. It does not try to impress or inspire. It simply exists, patiently, waiting for those who are ready to see. Many visitors have come to this garden over the centuries. Some were emperors and scholars, some were farmers and merchants, some were children who did not understand what they were looking at, but felt something stir in their small hearts nonetheless. One visitor I will tell you about was a woman who had lost her husband to illness. She was not old, but grief had aged her. Her face was drawn and pale. Her eyes seemed to look at something far away, something no one else could see. She had heard about the garden and had travelled many days to reach it, though she could not have said what she hoped to find. She arrived at the monastery as the sun was setting. A monk led her to the platform beside the garden and gestured for her to sit. He brought her a bowl of tea and then left her alone. She sat there through the night. She did not sleep. She did not move except to breathe and occasionally to sip the tea that grew cold in her hands. She watched the garden transform in the changing light, from the gold of sunset to the silver of moonrise to the grey of pre-dawn. At first, her mind was full of her husband. Memories crowded in, the way he laughed, the smell of his skin, the last words he had spoken, mundane words about the weather that now seemed precious beyond measure. She ached with missing him. She could not imagine how to continue without him. But as the hours passed, something shifted. The garden, in its perfect stillness, began to teach her, not through words, not through ideas, but through presence. The stones did not grieve, the gravel did not weep, and yet they held beauty, they held meaning, they existed, complete in themselves, without needing anything to be different. She began to understand. Her husband was gone. That was true, that was irreversible. She could not bring him back through weeping. She could not hold on to him through memory, but she could continue. She could breathe. She could sit here now, in this garden that asked nothing of her but her presence. When the sun rose, painting the gravel with pale gold, she felt something release in her chest. It was not the end of grief. Grief would come and go for years, in waves, in unexpected moments. But something had loosened. Some knot she had been clutching had begun to unwind. She bowed to the garden and to the stones and to the monk who appeared silently to collect her empty tea bowl. She spoke no words. There were no words that could convey what had happened. She simply bowed, turned, and walked back down the mountain to the life that awaited her. The garden remained. It remains still. The stones do not move. The gravel is raked fresh each morning, and visitors continue to come, each one bringing their own burdens, each one receiving something that cannot be named. Stillness is its own teacher. We do not need wisdom spoken to us. We need space in which wisdom can arise. Allow yourself this space now. Allow the garden to exist in your mind. Those 5 stones, that pale gravel, that grey wall holding everything in an embrace of simplicity. You do not need to understand what you see. You do not need to extract a lesson or a meaning. You only need to be present with it, as the woman was present through that long night of surrender. Your own grief, whatever form it takes, is welcome here. The parts of you that hurt, that fear, that resist, that cannot let go, are all welcome. The garden does not judge. The stones do not expect you to be different than you are. They simply witness. They simply wait. And in their waiting, they show you something about yourself, that you too can witness, that you too can wait, that beneath all the noise and struggle of your life, there is a stillness that cannot be disturbed, a place inside you where peace already exists. You do not need to earn this peace. You do not need to achieve it. You only need to remember that it is there. To turn your attention inward, past the thoughts, past the emotions, past the identity you have constructed, to the awareness that underlies it all. This awareness is what you truly are, not your name, not your history, not your hopes or fears, but the silent witness who has been present since your first breath and will remain until your last. This is the part of you that the garden addresses. This is the part of you that knows, without being told, what the stones have to say. Rest now in that awareness. Let it hold you. Let it carry you through the remaining hours of the night. You are not alone. You have never been alone. The same stillness that lives in the contemplation garden lives in you. It has always lived in you. It is waiting patiently for you to come home. There is a quality of attention that the ancient teachers called bare awareness. It is the simplest thing in the world and also the most elusive. It is what remains when we stop adding to our experience, when we stop commenting, judging, comparing, analysing, when we simply perceive without the layer of thought that usually accompanies perception. Imagine you are looking at a tree. Usually when we look at a tree, we do not simply see it. We think about it. We name it: oak, maple, pine. We evaluate it: healthy, dying, beautiful, ordinary. We associate it with memories: the tree in our childhood backyard, the tree we climbed as a child, the tree we carved our initials into with someone we once loved. All of this happens so quickly, so automatically, that we do not notice it. We think we are seeing the tree when actually we are seeing our thoughts about the tree. The raw experience of the tree, the shapes and colours and textures, the way the light plays through the leaves, the movement of branches in the wind. This is filtered through so many layers of mind that we rarely experience it directly. Bare awareness is what happens when those layers thin, when we see without naming, when we hear without interpreting, when we feel without resisting. It is a return to innocence, to the way a child sees the world before learning to cover it with concepts. You may have experienced this state without knowing what to call it. Perhaps in a moment of great beauty, when you were so struck by a sunset or a piece of music that thought fell away and you simply beheld. Perhaps in a moment of shock or surprise, when the usual commentary went silent and you were simply present. Perhaps in the moments just before sleep, when the mind begins to release its grip and you float in a space between waking and dreaming. These are glimpses of bare awareness, and the teachings tell us that we can cultivate this state, that with practice it can become more available to us, not as an escape from life, but as a deeper engagement with it, not as a way to avoid difficulty, but as a way to meet difficulty with clarity and equanimity. Tonight, as you rest, you have an opportunity to taste this awareness, not through effort, but through release. As your body relaxes, as your thoughts begin to slow, as the edges of consciousness soften, you naturally move toward this state. Sleep is, in a sense, the ultimate bare awareness, a consciousness without content, a presence without objects. Let yourself drift toward that state now. You do not need to do anything. You do not need to practice any technique. Simply allow what is already happening to happen. Allow the day to fade. Allow the stories you tell yourself to grow quiet. Allow the self you think you are to dissolve, just a little, into the vastness that underlies all experience. The thoughts that rise are not you. They are clouds crossing the sky of awareness. They have shape and colour and texture, but they are not the sky. The sky remains unchanged, whether clouds are present or absent. And you, the awareness in which thoughts appear, remain unchanged by whatever passes through you. This is freedom, not freedom from experience, but freedom within experience, not the absence of difficulty, but the presence of spaciousness in which difficulty can be held. The monks who sat in the meditation hall for hours were not trying to have no thoughts. They were learning to identify with the awareness rather than with the thoughts. They were learning to be the sky, not the clouds. You are learning this too, whether you know it or not. Every night when you sleep, you practice dissolution. You practice letting go of the daytime self, the constructed identity, the endless narrative of me and mine. And every morning, when you wake, you practice reconstitution. You gather yourself again. You remember your name and your history. You step back into the story. But the story is not all there is. The story is a useful tool, a way of navigating the world, but it is not the deepest truth of who you are. The deepest truth is this awareness, this presence, this capacity for experience that precedes all content. Rest in that truth now. Let it be your foundation. Let it be your home. The night is deep and quiet, and you are held by something vaster than you know. There was a master who lived alone in a small hut at the edge of a bamboo forest. He had no students, no possessions to speak of, no duties or obligations. He had renounced the world many years before, not out of despair, but out of a desire for simplicity. He wanted nothing more than to sit, to breathe, to watch the bamboo sway in the wind. His hut was simple: 4 walls, a roof, a floor of packed earth. A single window faced the forest. A single door led to a path that wound down the mountain to the village below. Inside, there was a sleeping mat, a cushion for sitting, a small stove for heating water, and a few vessels for cooking and eating. That was all. The master's days followed a rhythm as reliable as the seasons. He woke before dawn, when the stars were still visible through the window. He sat in meditation until the first light touched the bamboo. He prepared a simple breakfast, usually rice and vegetables, eating slowly, tasting each bite. He walked through the forest, noticing whatever there was to notice. He sat again. He prepared a simple supper. He watched the sunset. He slept. This might sound boring. To many, it would seem like a life empty of meaning. No accomplishments, no relationships, no stories to tell. Just the same routine, day after day, year after year, until death. But the master did not experience it as emptiness. He experienced it as fullness. Each day was complete in itself, needing nothing added. Each moment was sufficient, requiring no improvement. He had discovered what most people spend their lives seeking without knowing what they seek. He had found peace. Occasionally, someone from the village would make the long climb up the mountain to visit him. They came with questions, with problems, with the restlessness that characterizes most human lives. The master received them kindly, offering tea, offering the silence of his presence. He rarely gave advice. He mostly listened. One visitor was a young merchant, successful by worldly standards, wealthy and respected. But the merchant was not happy. He could not sleep at night. His mind churned with worries about his business, about his competitors, about the future. He had heard that the old master knew the secret of peace, and he had come to learn it. The master listened to the merchant's story. He heard about the sleepless nights, the gnawing anxiety, the feeling that no matter how much he achieved, it was never enough. He nodded slowly. Then he rose and walked to the window. "Look," the master said. "Tell me what you see." The merchant looked. "I see bamboo," he said. "Many stalks of bamboo. They are swaying in the wind." The master nodded. "Do you see how they sway?" The merchant looked more closely. "Yes. They bend one way and then the other. They follow the wind." The master nodded again. "The bamboo does not fight the wind," he said. "It does not try to stand rigid. It bends, and in bending, it survives. If it were stiff, It would break, but because it yields, it endures. This is the secret you seek. The merchant was confused. He had come for wisdom about business, about life, about how to find peace despite all his responsibilities, and the master was talking about bamboo. But as he sat with the words, something began to shift. He realized that he had been fighting the wind his whole life, fighting uncertainty, fighting change, fighting the natural flow of events. He had tried to control everything, to hold everything in place, to resist the movements of a world that refused to be still. And it was exhausting him. It was stealing his sleep. It was robbing him of the very peace he sought. The master served him tea, and they sat together in silence, watching the bamboo sway. The merchant did not ask any more questions. He did not need to. He understood, in a way that went beyond words, what he needed to learn. He needed to bend. He needed to yield. He needed to stop fighting what could not be fought. When he returned to the village that evening, something had changed. He still had his business, his responsibilities, his complicated life, but he held them differently. He allowed them to move, to shift, to be uncertain. He stopped trying to fix everything in place, and slowly, night by night, his sleep began to return. You are like the bamboo, friend. You are meant to sway. The winds of life will always blow, and there is nothing you can do to stop them. But you can learn to bend. You can learn to yield. You can learn to let the wind pass through you without breaking you. This is not weakness. It is the deepest strength. The bamboo survives typhoons that topple mighty oaks. The river shapes mountains by yielding to their contours. And you, in your soft surrender to sleep, are practicing this wisdom right now. Let your body be soft. Let your breath be easy. Let your thoughts flow like the wind, passing through the bamboo of your awareness without catching, without holding, without struggle. Peace is not found in control. It is found in surrender. The night has deepened now. The world outside has grown quiet. Perhaps the rain continues, or perhaps it has stopped. Perhaps the wind stirs the trees, or perhaps everything is still. It does not matter. You are safe here, in this cocoon of rest, drifting slowly towards sleep. I will tell you one more story before I leave you to your dreams. It is a story about a brush and a sheet of paper and a single stroke that changed everything. There was a calligraphy master who was known throughout the land for his perfect characters. Every stroke he made was balanced, elegant, alive. Students came from far and wide to study with him, hoping to learn the secret of his art. But the master was troubled. He knew that his work was technically flawless, but he felt that something was missing. Some quality of spontaneity, of freedom, of life. His characters were beautiful, but they were also in some way he could not name, dead. One day he set his brush aside and sat in meditation. He sat for hours, then for days, barely eating, barely moving. He was searching for something, though he did not know what. He was waiting for something, though he did not know what. On the seventh day, as dawn was breaking, he suddenly rose. He walked to his writing table, picked up his brush, dipped it in ink, and made a single stroke on the paper before him. It was not a character, it was not a word, it was just a stroke, a curve of ink that began thick and tapered to a point. But looking at it, the master began to weep, for in that single stroke he saw what he had been seeking. He saw the truth that no perfect technique could capture. He saw that art was not about control. It was about letting go, The stroke had moved through him, not from him. He had not made it. He had allowed it, and in that allowing, something vast and timeless had expressed itself, something that belonged not to him but to the universe itself. From that day forward, the Master's work changed. It was still technically accomplished, but it had a new quality, a quality of breath and life and spontaneity. People who saw his calligraphy felt moved without knowing why. They felt as though they were witnessing something sacred, something that pointed beyond the page to the mystery at the heart of existence. When asked to explain what had changed, the Master would only smile. He would say that he had learned to get out of the way. He had learned that the best art comes not from effort, but from emptiness. He had learned that the universe will create through us if only we stop blocking it. This is true not only of art, it is true of life itself. Your life is a single stroke being drawn across the paper of time. You can struggle to control it, to make it perfect, to force it into the shape you think it should have. Or you can allow it to move through you, trusting that something wiser than your conscious mind knows where it is going. Tonight, as you release into sleep, you are practicing this allowing. You are letting go of the day, letting go of your plans, letting go of the effortful self that tries so hard to make things happen. You are becoming empty enough for dreams to arise, empty enough for rest to find you, empty enough for the wisdom of the night to do its silent work. Trust this process. Trust the darkness that holds you. Trust the body that knows how to sleep without your assistance. Trust the breath that rises and falls like waves on a shore you cannot see. The calligraphy master spent the rest of his life making strokes, not trying to make them beautiful, not trying to make them meaningful, just allowing them to appear one after another, each one a small miracle, each one a teaching about the nature of surrender. You, too, are making strokes. Every breath is a stroke. Every heartbeat is a stroke. Every moment of awareness is a stroke of existence across the canvas of being. And none of them need to be perfect. None of them need to be understood. They only need to be allowed. So allow this moment now. Allow the heaviness of your limbs. Allow the softness of your breath. Allow the thoughts that continue to drift, the feelings that continue to fade, the consciousness that continues to thin as sleep approaches. You have done enough. You have tried enough. You have held on long enough. Now it is time to let go. The candle I spoke of at the beginning, the one flickering in the room of your imagination, has burned low now. Its flame is small, barely visible, a tiny point of light in the gathering darkness. Watch it as it wavers. Watch it as it dances. Watch it as it prepares to give itself to the night. The flame does not fear its own extinction. It has been consuming itself since the moment it was lit. Every moment of light has been a moment of burning, a moment of transformation, a moment of becoming something other than what it was. This is the nature of flame. This is the nature of life. And when the flame finally goes out, when the wick can no longer sustain the fire, the candle will still be there, changed, diminished, transformed, but present. The wax that remains is not less than the candle that was. It is the same candle, having completed its purpose, having given all the light it had to give. You too will give all the light you have to give. You too will burn and transform, and eventually, someday, go out. But not tonight. Tonight you are simply resting. Tonight you are simply allowing the flame to burn low without resistance, trusting that the darkness is not an ending, but a different kind of presence. In the darkness, seeds germinate. In the darkness, dreams arise. In the darkness, the body heals, and the mind processes, and the spirit renews itself for another day. Darkness is not the absence of light. It is a light of a different kind, a light too subtle for the eyes, but perceptible to the heart. Feel that subtle light now. Feel it surrounding you, permeating you, holding you in its infinite embrace. You are cradled by the night. You are nourished by the silence. You are loved by something that has no name but is present in every breath, every heartbeat, every moment of awareness. This is the peace that passes understanding. This is the stillness that underlies all motion. This is the home you have always been seeking, the home that was never anywhere else but here, now, in this very moment. Let yourself arrive. Let yourself land. Let yourself be exactly where you are, exactly as you are, without needing anything to be different. The stories I have told you tonight are finished. The words I have spoken are fading into silence. But the wisdom they pointed to remains, not as something to remember, but as something to be. You are the wisdom. You are the peace. You are the stillness that the ancient masters spent their lives discovering. There is nothing you need to add to yourself. There is nothing you need to fix or improve. You are complete, just as you are. The universe has been preparing for this moment since the beginning of time, arranging atoms and energy, birthing stars and planets, evolving life across billions of years, all so that you could exist, here, now, in this bed, in this night, breathing this breath. Every ancestor who ever lived contributed to your existence. Every choice they made, every struggle they endured, every love they shared, led eventually to you. You are the flower of an inconceivably long and complex process. You are the universe becoming aware of itself. And in this moment of awareness, everything is present. The past lives in your cells. The future waits in your potential. And the present, this precious eternal present, is all there really is. Rest in that presence now. Rest in the mystery that you are. The night will take care of itself. The dawn will come when it comes. And you, suspended between what was and what will be, can simply be what you are. A breath, a heartbeat, a flicker of consciousness in the vast darkness, precious beyond measure, complete beyond question, at peace. The rain that has been falling, or that you have been imagining, is beginning to slow. The drops are fewer now, further, apart, each one landing with a soft finality before sinking into the earth. Soon the clouds will part, perhaps, and stars will appear. Or perhaps the clouds will remain, a soft blanket over the sky, and the night will stay dark and gentle until morning. It does not matter. You are not waiting for the sky to clear. You are not hoping for the stars to emerge. You are simply here, now, resting in whatever is. This is the practice. This is the wisdom. To meet each moment as it comes, without preference, without resistance, without the endless wanting that characterizes most of our waking hours. Wanting is exhausting. Wanting keeps us reaching for what is not here, pushing away what is. Wanting creates the gap between what we have and what we think we need, and it is in that gap that suffering lives. But tonight you can close the gap. Tonight you can want nothing. Not because you have everything you could ever desire, but because you have recognized that this moment, as it is enough. More than enough. overflowing with enough. The breath is enough. The heartbeat is enough. The softness of the pillow, the weight of the blanket, the darkness behind your closed eyes, all of it is enough. All of it is perfect, not in the sense of being ideal, but in the sense of being complete. Nothing needs to be added, nothing needs to be taken away. This is contentment, not the contentment of satisfaction, which comes from getting what we want, but the deeper contentment of acceptance, which comes from no longer needing things to be different than they are. The monks who sat in the meditation hall for hours were cultivating this contentment. The calligrapher who learned to trust his blindness was discovering this contentment. The caretaker who smiled beside the ruins of his library was living this contentment. It is available to everyone. It has always been available. We only need to stop overlooking it in our rush towards something else. You are not rushing anywhere tonight. You are not trying to get somewhere else, to become someone else, to have something you do not have. You are simply resting here, now, in the fullness of the present moment. And the present moment is extraordinarily full. It contains the entire history of the universe. It contains every possibility for the future. It contains the mystery of consciousness, the miracle of existence, the incomprehensible fact that anything at all exists rather than nothing. How strange and wonderful it is to be alive, to breathe, to feel, to think, to wonder, to lie in bed at night listening to the rain slow and the thoughts settle, drifting toward a sleep that comes as surely as the dawn that will follow it. You do not know what dreams await you. You do not know what the morning will bring. But you know this moment. You know this breath. You know the feeling of your body held by the bed, your mind held by the night, your heart held by something vast and silent and infinitely patient. Rest in that. Holding now. Let yourself be held. Let yourself be small and soft and safe, like a child falling asleep in the arms of a loving parent. The night is your parent tonight. The darkness is your cradle, and you are rocked gently, slowly, toward the sleep that has been waiting for you all along. The last of the rain has fallen. The last of the words have been spoken. What remains is silence and breath, silence and heartbeat, silence and the slow approach of dreams. You are almost there now, almost home. The distance between waking and sleeping has shrunk to almost nothing. A few more breaths, a few more heartbeats, a few more moments of this gentle drifting consciousness, and then sleep will take you, as it takes everyone, every night, all over the world. Millions of people surrendering at this very moment, millions of bodies softening, millions of minds releasing their grip on the day. You are not alone in your sleep. You are part of a vast human rhythm, a tide of consciousness ebbing and flowing with the rotation of the earth. The sun that is set for you is rising somewhere else. The night that cradles you is giving way to day on the other side of the world. And the people there are waking, stretching, greeting a new morning, while you descend into the sweetness of rest. This is how it has always been. Day and night, waking and sleeping, the rhythm of life moving in its ancient patterns. And you are part of it. You belong to it. You are woven into the fabric of existence as surely as the stars are woven into the sky. Let yourself belong now. Let yourself be woven. The separate self that works so hard all day to maintain itself, to define itself, to protect itself from an uncertain world, that self can soften now. It can dissolve a little into the larger pattern. It can remember that it was never truly separate, that the boundaries it drew were always provisional, always permeable, always more idea than reality. You are not only yourself, you are also the bed that holds you, the air that breathes you, the night that surrounds you. You are the rain that has fallen, and the moon that shines unseen behind the clouds. You are the ancestors who prepared the way for you, and the descendants who will remember you. You are part of everything, and everything is part of you. This is not mystical nonsense. This is simple fact, dressed in poetic language. The atoms that make up your body were forged in stars. The water in your cells has been part of rivers and oceans and clouds. The oxygen you breathe was exhaled by trees and plants and microorganisms. There is nothing in you that did not come from somewhere else, and there is nowhere you will go that is truly separate from where you have been. Let this interconnection comfort you now. You are held not only by the bed, but by the whole universe. You are supported not only by your own efforts, but by the countless processes that sustain life on this planet. You can relax because the world does not depend on your vigilance. You can rest because the night knows how to be night without your assistance. Sleep now, friend. The stories are told. The teachings are complete. The words have said all they can say. And now it is silence's turn to speak. The breath continues, slower now, deeper. The heart continues, steady as ever, faithful as always. And the mind, that busy, restless mind, is finally beginning to quiet. Let it quiet. Let the thoughts grow thin and transparent. Let them fade like morning mist under the sun, though in this case, under the gentle moon of your resting awareness. You do not need to think right now. You do not need to figure anything out. The problems of the day will still be there tomorrow, but tonight they can wait. Tonight you can be free of them. This freedom is your birthright, not the freedom to do whatever you want, which is often just another form of bondage, but the freedom to be at peace, regardless of circumstances, the freedom to let go, even when the world seems to demand that you hold on, the freedom to rest, even when so much seems to remain undone. Take that freedom now. Claim it. You have earned it by living through another day, by doing your best, by caring and trying, and sometimes failing, and sometimes succeeding. You have earned the right to rest, and rest is what you shall have. The candle has gone out. The rain has stopped. The night is deep and dark and perfectly still, and you are sinking into it as naturally as a stone sinks into water, not falling, but sinking, not losing yourself, but finding a deeper self, the self that sleeps and dreams and wakes and sleeps again, the self that has been doing this since you were born and will do it until you die. Trust that self now. It knows what it is doing. It has taken you through thousands of nights already, and it will take you through this one. You do not need to manage the process. You do not need to oversee the transition. You can simply let go and let sleep happen, like a flower opening, like a leaf falling, like a wave returning to the sea. The sea is vast and dark and welcoming. It receives you without judgment, without expectation. It holds you as it has held billions of sleepers before you, as it will hold billions more after you are gone. The sea of sleep, the ocean of rest, the infinite waters of the unconscious where all differences dissolve and all distinctions fade. Sink into those waters now. Let them close over you, gentle and warm. Let them carry you to wherever you need to go, to whatever dreams await, to whatever healing can only happen in the secret depths of sleep. You are safe. You are loved. You are exactly where you need to be. And as the night continues, as the hours pass unseen, as the world turns slowly toward tomorrow, you rest. You simply rest. The most natural thing in the world, the most necessary thing, the most profound thing. Rest well, friend. The night is kind, and all is well. The last word has been spoken, but the silence that follows is also a kind of word. It speaks of endings that are not really endings, of pauses that contain everything that came before them, of the space between notes that makes music possible. Listen to that silence now. Let it be more present than any word could be. Let it fill you, surround you, become you. You are the silence. You have always been the silence. The thoughts were just visitors. The words were just passing through. But you, the awareness that heard them, the presence that received them, you are the silence that remains when all else fades. And in that silence there is peace. Not the peace of having solved all your problems, not the peace of having achieved all your goals, but the peace of being, simply being, without needing anything to be different. This is the peace that the Masters spoke of. This is the peace that the stories pointed toward. This is the peace that has been waiting for you, patiently, since before you were born, and will be waiting still when you wake tomorrow. It has never gone anywhere. It has never been absent. It has only been overlooked, obscured by the busyness of the mind, the noise of the world, the endless pursuit of something else. But tonight there is no pursuit. Tonight there is nowhere to go. Tonight there is only this, the breath, the body, the darkness, the peace. Let yourself dissolve into it. Let the edges of yourself grow soft and permeable. Let the distinction between inside and outside, between you and the world, grow thin and finally disappear. You are the night now. You are the silence. You are the peace that passes understanding. And in that peace, sleep finds you at last. Not because you chased it, but because you stopped running. Not because you achieved it, but because you allowed it. Not because you earned it, but because it was always yours. Sleep now. Dream now. Rest in the embrace of the night as the world turns toward morning, as the stars shine unseen, as everything continues exactly as it should. The breath moves on its own. The heart beats on its own. And all is well. All is always well. The temple bell that sounded at the beginning of this journey now sounds again, far away, barely audible, a single note fading into the vastness. It does not call you to do anything. It does not ask you to wake or respond. It simply marks the moment, this moment, like a period at the end of a sentence, like a seal on a letter, like a signature at the bottom of a work of art. The moment is complete. The night is here. The story is told. And you, dear friend, are exactly where you need to be. Rest now. The morning will come when it comes, but that is many hours away, and there is nowhere you need to be until then. Let the darkness hold you. Let the silence embrace you. Let the peace that you have always been return to you now, as naturally as a river returns to the sea, as surely as the breath returns from the pause between inhale and exhale. You are home. You have always been home, and home is exactly this: the breath, the body, the darkness, the peace. Sleep well, dream sweetly, and when you wake, may you carry a little of this stillness with you into the light of the new day. But for now, there is no new day. There is only this moment. There is only this breath. There is only this deep, delicious, infinitely kind darkness. Rest in it. Dissolve into it. Let it take you wherever it will. The night is yours. The peace is yours. And all is well. The bamboo sways in a wind you cannot feel. The stones sit in the garden you cannot see. The brush moves across paper in a motion you cannot make. And yet, in some way, you are part of all of it. The sway, the stillness, the motion, the rest. You are part of the great dance of existence, the endless play of form and emptiness, the continuous arising and dissolving that is the nature of everything. Nothing is permanent, nothing is separate, nothing is as it appears, and yet everything is exactly as it should be. This is the paradox at the heart of things. This is the mystery that no words can solve, but all words point toward. Let the mystery hold you now. Let it be larger than your understanding. Let it be deeper than your fear. You do not need to figure anything out. You only need to rest in not knowing, in the vast open space where all questions dissolve and all answers become unnecessary. This is the freedom the Masters spoke of. This is the peace that passes understanding. This is the home that was never anywhere else, and you are there, you are here, you are exactly where you need to be. The breath continues, and you are the breath. The heart beats, and you are the heart. The night deepens, and you are the night. There is nothing more to say. There is nothing more to do. There is only this endless moment of rest, this infinite instant of peace, this eternal now that contains everything and needs nothing. You are floating now, somewhere between waking and sleep, between thought and silence, between self and vastness. Let yourself float. The water holds you, the darkness carries you, the peace enfolds you, and somewhere far away the first light of dawn is beginning to stir. Not here, not yet, but somewhere on this spinning planet, the night is ending and the day is beginning. It will reach you eventually. It always does, but not now, not yet. Now there is only rest. The temple doors close softly. The incense burns to ash. The candle that went out hours ago has cooled now. The wax hardened, the wick black and still. And you, the one who listened, the one who followed the stories and the silences, you are almost gone now, almost dissolved, almost asleep. Let yourself go. There is nothing to hold on to. There is nothing that needs your attention. There is only the vast welcoming darkness, the soft embrace of the unconscious, the deep well of sleep. Fall into it, surrender to it, let it catch you as it has always caught you, as it will always catch you, as it catches every creature that ever lived, every night that ever fell, every moment that ever passed into the next. This is the rhythm of existence. This is the pulse of being, waking and sleeping, sleeping and waking, the endless dance of consciousness and rest. You are part of that dance. You have always been part of it. And now, tonight, you are dancing into sleep. Let the music carry you. Let the silence guide you. Let the peace that was always here become the only thing you know. The night is here. The breath moves on its own, and all is well. The last ripple fades from the still pond of your awareness. The final thought drifts past like a cloud in an empty sky, and what remains is only this: presence, peace, the soft eternity of now. You have arrived, not somewhere new, but here, always here, the only place you have ever been, the only place anyone can ever be. Welcome home, sleep. The stars wheel overhead, unseen. The earth turns beneath you, unfelt, and you, small and precious and infinitely held, rest in the arms of the universe. The night asks nothing of you. The darkness demands nothing. There is only rest, only peace, only the long, slow slide into dreams. Let yourself slide, let yourself sink, let yourself become as soft as water, as still as stone, as peaceful as the space between stars. The stories are finished, the words have done their work, and now there is only silence and breath and the gentle approach of sleep. It is coming for you now. Feel it at the edges of your awareness, soft and warm and infinitely kind. It does not hurry, it does not force, it simply waits, patient as the night itself, until you are ready. And you are ready now. You have been ready for hours, perhaps. The only thing preventing sleep was the trying, the reaching, the wanting, and now that you have let all that go, sleep can come. It is coming. It is almost here. A few more breaths, a few more heartbeats, a few more moments of this tender, drifting half-awareness, and then peace, complete peace, the peace of the deep sleeper who has forgotten everything except rest, the peace of the child who has never known anything else, the peace that was promised, that was always available, that has finally at last arrived. This is what you sought without knowing. This is what you needed without asking. This is the gift that the night gives freely to all who are willing to receive it. Receive it now. Let it fill you. Let it overflow. The night is here. The breath moves on its own. And all is well. And as you fade now, as consciousness thins to a thread, and even the thread begins to fray, know this. You are loved. Not by someone, not by something, but by everything. The whole universe has conspired to bring you to this moment. The whole of existence has prepared this bed, this breath, this peace. You are part of it all. You have always been part of it all, and you will always be part of it all. Even when the small self forgets, even when the busy mind obscures, even when the day returns with its demands and distractions. Beneath it all, this peace remains. Beneath the surface waves of waking life, these still waters of being. Beneath the noise, this silence. Beneath the motion, this rest. You can return here whenever you wish. You can find this place again, in sleep, in meditation, in moments of unexpected stillness. It is always waiting. It has never gone anywhere. It will never go anywhere. But for now, there is no need to think about returning. There is only being here, only resting, only allowing sleep to take you wherever it will. The journey is complete. The destination is reached. And the destination was never somewhere else. It was always here. It was always now. It was always you. Rest now. Dream now. Be at peace. The night continues. The world continues. And you, suspended in the gentlest embrace, continue too. Breathing, being, resting. The last word falls like a leaf from a tree in autumn, spiralling slowly down, landing softly on the forest floor. And there is only silence, and in the silence, peace, and in the peace, rest, and in the rest, you. Good night, friend. Sleep well. The morning will find you when it is ready. But until then, there is only this, only this, only. And as the candle burns low, as the rain falls softly on ancient stones, as the temple cat curls in a patch of imaginary moonlight, as the calligrapher sets down his brush, and the caretaker closes his eyes, and the bamboo sways in a wind that comes from nowhere and goes to nowhere, as the garden sits in perfect stillness, and the master in his hut prepares for sleep, and the woman who lost everything finds herself found, as all the stories merge into one story, and all the words dissolve into silence, and all the seeking ends in rest, there is this, a breath, a heartbeat, a moment of awareness, and the vast welcoming darkness holding it all, holding you, now and always, forever at peace. Sleep.